Halloween, one of the 8 pagan Sabbaths and part of sun god worship. Historian Nicholas Rogers, exploring the origins of Halloween, notes that while some folklorists have detected its origins in the Roman feast of Pomona, the goddess of fruits and seeds, or in the festival of the dead called Parentalia, it is more typically linked to the Celtic festival of Samhain, whose original spelling was Samhain, pronounced Samhain or Samhain. The name is derived from Old Irish and means roughly summer's end. A similar festival was held by the ancient Britons and is known as Calan Gaeaf, pronounced Calan Gaeaf. The festival of Samhain celebrates the end of the lighter half of the year and beginning of the darker half, and it is sometimes regarded as the Celtic New Year. The ancient Celts believed that the border between this world and the other world became thin on Samhain, allowing spirits both harmless and harmful to pass through. The family's ancestors were honored and invited home, while harmful spirits were warded off. It is believed that the need to ward off harmful spirits led to the wearing of costumes and masks. Their purpose was to disguise oneself as a harmful spirit and thus avoid harm. In Scotland, the spirits were impersonated by young men dressed in white with masked, veiled or blackened faces. Samhain was also a time to take stock of food supplies and slaughter livestock for winter stores. Bonfires played a large part in the festivities. All other fires were doused and each home lit their hearth from the bonfire. The bones of slaughtered livestock were cast into its flames. Sometimes 2 bonfires would be built side by side, and people and their livestock would walk between them as a cleansing ritual. This sounds much like the ritual of Molech. Another common practice was divination, which often involved the use of food and drink. The name Halloween and many of its present-day traditions derive from the Old English era. The practice of dressing up in costumes and begging door to door for treats on a holidays dates back to the Middle Ages and includes Christmas wassailing. Trick-or-treating resembles the late medieval practice of souling, when poor folk would go door to door on Hallowmass, November 1, receiving food in return for prayers for the dead on All Souls Day, November 2nd. It originated in Ireland and Britain, although similar practices for the souls of the dead were found as far south as Italy. Shakespeare mentions the practice in his comedy The Two Gentlemen of Verona, 1593, when Speed accuses his master of pulling, whimpering or whining, like a beggar at Hallowmass. The custom of wearing costumes and masks at Halloween goes back to Celtic traditions of attempting to copy the evil spirits or placate them. In Scotland, for instance, where the dead were impersonated by young men who have masked, veiled or blackened faces, dressed in white. American historian and author Ruth Edna Kelly of Massachusetts wrote the first book-length history of the holiday in the U.S., The Book of Halloween, 1919, and references souling in the chapter Halloween in America. The taste in Halloween festivities now is to study old traditions and hold a Scotch party using Burns' poem Halloween as a guide, or to go a-souling as the English used. In short, no custom that was once honored at Halloween is out of fashion now. So right here you can see that the dressing up in costumes comes from the Middle Ages and was done to hide from evil spirits by dressing up like them. It all goes back to demonic practices. The Druids celebrated 2 special nights of the year, Beltane and Samhain. Beltane took place on May 1 and marked the birth of summer. Samhain occurred on November 1 and signified the death of summer. Samhain, a night celebrating death and hell, was the Druids' most important ritual, it was a terrifying night of human sacrifices, and it was the original Halloween. The Druids believed during Samhain the mystic veil separating the dead from the living opened. The Druids thought these roaming spirits loosed on Samhain went searching for a body to possess. The frightened Celts would masquerade as demons, evil spirits and ghosts, hoping to convince the roaming evil spirits they were another evil spirit and leave them alone. The Celts also prepared meals and treats to appease the evil spirits from tricks or malicious acts, hence our custom of trick or treat. The Druids performed horrifying human sacrifices and other vile rituals during Samhain. Let there be no doubt, Samhain night was a terrifying covenant with death and with hell. And let there be no doubt, Samhain was the original Halloween night. The god whom the Druids worshipped was Baal, as the blazing fires of Baal show, and children were offered in sacrifice to Baal during Beltane, as we read in Hislop, Alexander the Two Babylons, page 232. So, as you can see, Halloween, it has pagan origins, it is absolutely evil, and you should stay away from these festivities. Be no part or have no part of it, in it. For by having part in it, you might be opening doors in your own lives for the attacks of Satan and his demons. Stay away from that which is evil, and keep yourself pure, and set apart unto Yahuwah. Keep his festivities, his festivals, as you read in Leviticus 23, and stay away from anything that's pagan, as he warns you in Deuteronomy 12 verse 30 and 31, that you must not celebrate festivities in honor of him, or add his name to them, that you must stay away from pagan festivals.